It's FY 2026 draft day for federal dollars. The board is live. The federal discretionary budget is in, and your capture team is on the clock. In this agency by agency, program by program breakdown, we're going to call the picks. NNSA's surge, FAA's Project Lift and Radar, VA EHR, NASA Artemis commercial, and flag the busts. EPA trims, education consolidations, HUD shifts. So your capture team wins more federal contracts this season. But budgets are strategy in numbers, and that's why they're so important. FY 2026 discretionary requests tell you where agencies plan to spend, what's consolidating, and where incumbents are suddenly vulnerable. We read the justifications over here at Squared Compass so that you don't have to. So let's draft your pipeline right now. Let's first get into the quick ground rules. We will only focus on discretionary dollars, the stuff that's actually appropriate each year. Across agency programs you can sell into. Everything here is drawn from official FY 2026 materials, but always check the final appropriations before you price or even try to staff. So let's get into our winning bets. First and foremost, NNSA's surge. Nuclear security is on a tear. The FY 2026 request lifts weapon activities, naval reactors, and non-proliferation. Picture like this. Lead with design build, security, advanced manufacturing, digital engineering, and specialized tech services. Back it with cleared staff and relevant site experience. Let's get into bet number 2. FAA modernization, specifically Project Lift and radar controls. FAA modernization has been something that has been talked about for a while. FY 2026 pushes Project Lift to overhaul telecom, a radar replacement down payment, and a controller hiring surge. So what's your pitch? Network and infrastructure modernization, surveillance and sensors, safety, cyber tooling, training, and F&E execution. Let's get into bet number 3. VA IT and EHR modernization. VIT and EHR is hugely important. It's the stabilization and rollout momentum that matters. If you sit at the intersection of clinical workflows, data migration, interface testing, cybersecurity, and change management, you're in the pocket. Let's get into voice 4. Bet capital. Bet number 4 is on airport capital. AIP plus supplemental dollars mean airfields, terminals, nav aids, resiliency, and program controls that work. Pair your engineering team with a strong grant and compliance bench. That's going to be important. Let's get into bet number 5. NASA's Artemis pivot to commercial. So NASA's Artemis's commercial pivot requires that in the FY 2026 posture that it emphasizes commercial lunar systems and services. If your strengths are landers, surface systems, comm/nav robotics, and autonomy, this is your lane. Bet number 6, DHS mission demand. Think border, cyber, disaster. Think CBP, ICE, logistics and tech, CISA cyber hardening, and FEMA preparedness and mitigation. Frame offers around mission outcomes and faster deployment. And finally, your last bet right here is USACE Civil Works pipelines. This is Civil Works and its steady work across investigations, constructions, O&M, MR&T, and HMTF. Dredging, locks and dams rehabs, flood risks, coastal resilience, bring program management and construction logistics excellence, and you have a good chance of winning some bids. Now, let's get into the 7 bets that I think are losers. First and foremost, you have the EPA STAG and categorical grants. FY 2026 tightens state pass-throughs and trims SRFs in the base request. If your pipeline leans on categorical grant administration, expect a squeeze. Pivot to permitting help, compliance tools, or water sector cybersecurity niches. Number 2, legacy Artemis elements. Should be no surprise on this one. Some legacy systems and upgrades face proposed reductions or retirement as NASA emphasizes commercial space products. If you're tied to older stacks, start repositioning yourself. Let's get in number 3, education program eliminations and consolidations. Multiple lines are going to fold into IDEA Part B or are proposed for elimination. Instead of chasing micro programs, pivot to state-level implementation support and data reporting tied to the remaining big formulas. Let's talk about losing bet number 4, HUD legacy vouchers and COC structures. The request proposes state-run rental assistance and shifts homelessness funding into expanded ESG. Contracts anchored to voucher administration or COC ops may fragment. Lean into transition, TA, grants, ops, and data eligibility tooling. Then we get into number 5, CISA growth assumptions. CISA's growth assumptions, well, depending upon the marks, the top line may be tighter than teams expected. You need to prioritize essential federal enterprise cyber work. Defer speculative growth until conference outcomes are clear. Loss number 6, NSF broad proposals. NSF has a lot of breadth. With a consolidated top line, broad proposals are going to struggle. Focus on AI, microelectronics, quantum, advanced wireless, and major facilities where the agency signals its priorities. Finally, lost bet number 7, HHS discretionary breadth. Well, proposed reorgs and reductions create timing risks for scattered program support. Anchor your offers to primary care access, behavioral health, maternal and child health, and program integrity where emphasis still persists. And that's it. You need to grab our agency by agency report, head over to www.squaredcompass.com and ask for it. We're here to help. Remember, budgets move, pipelines don't unless you move them yourselves. Pick your bets, prune the dead weight, and I'll see you in the win column.